Welcome to the Firepower Podcast. This is a show where friends chat about the Firepower comic book series by Robert Kirkman, Chris Samnee, Matt Wilson, and Russ Wooten. I'm your host, Bash, and I'm joined by my friends and my fellow hosts, Firefly and Charlie. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Just got back from the holidays. It's been, I had a good time. Hope you guys had a great time too. We're going into the new year. We're approaching the end of Firepower, but I'm excited to have both of you back on this time now.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's the last episode of 2023, I guess, for us. So much came out this year. I know, just real quick, like on the Massiverse side, I just saw that big graphic again, like of all the issues that came out, and like just that side alone, it's just mind blowing. But yeah, this one, I know this issue in particular was one that people were waiting quite a bit of a long time for. So yeah, it's a big one. Can't wait to get into it. Had a good holidays. Can't wait to get into the new year. And yeah, it's been good. How was your holidays, Bash?
Good, yeah. I chilled with some friends, saw some
Nice.
Family, played some games, read some comics, got some comics, and then
Nice.
Time to talk Firepower. Yeah. Big issue, 44 pages, oversized. We've been looking through this for a long time. Forward to this. This came out after hiatus, of course, because we took a hiatus with issue. Or was this the last one before hiatus? No, I feel like
this is the one. This is the one when they come back from the hiatus.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I think it was like
this
4 or 6 months. It was
the
a
last
long
arc. Yeah, first issue of the last arc. And sadly, they announced that it was the last arc when this came out. So it's like, it's funny how that happened. But yeah, let's get into it. An awesome cover we have with Waylon and Owen, like face to face. Looking. I love how they're just like floating on rocks. Like,
Yeah.
Like you don't see the rest of the rocks. They're just kind of like floating there. Like those rocks are like the two pieces that are just, it's like very Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And well, before we get into the previously on and all that, I know sadly we missed you on the last one, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on that huge cliffhanger. What do you think of that whole crazy fight of 24? Master Shaw coming down, but they took Master Shaw down, but they didn't take him down, right? Like they're still living. The dragon's kind of good, so it does seem like there's a lot set up. What do you think of kind of last issue setting up into this one?
It was good. Did not like. I mean, no, I saw the twist coming a long time ago, so I wasn't like particularly.
Fair.
It was a little bit. I mean, not super predictable, but it was a little bit predictable. So I like that one I saw coming, but I still enjoyed it. I'm interested to see how they're going to navigate that awkwardness in this issue, and in terms of the pushing Master Shaw's plan forward, I enjoyed that part. I thought it was really well done. And it has me curious, like, obviously, one thing we're always cautious about with Kirkman books is who's he's going to kill. He loves to kill off characters.
Yes.
Main characters. Yes. So we'll see if there's any surprises in this issue.
It's been fairly safe so far, so we know something.
It is a family book, remember?
Yeah, something's coming. So even if it's a family book, he'll kill off some people. I know he will. But let's get into it. So previously, Owen and his allies finally brought the battle to Master Shaw and the dragon. However, even with Owen mastering the Flaming Fist technique, he alone wasn't strong enough to defeat them and was severely injured in the fight. Waylon barely rescued Owen from the dragon's maw in time, and as they retreated, revealed to Owen his deepest secret, that he had been the one to kill Owen's parents. So yeah, that's the big secret. I obviously spoilers, it goes without saying. So let's dive into issue 25. First few pages are amazing. And we're not going to go page by page because I feel like, well, of course we'll cover it, but I feel like you have to really experience it. But yeah, there's no text. Yes. And we've talked about this several times on the show about how Kirkman's actually quite a verbose writer, but in this, at least in terms of the dialogue, and in this series, we've seen him tone that back. And I've always been curious, and I've asked you guys this, like how or to what extent he's shaping the direction of these panels that have no text. And we saw in the back of this issue with the RC Coda that there's a lot of set up from the narrative in terms of like, okay, this is what we're like looking at, this, that. There's some funny moments, but I thought it was interesting to open on like this just whole, it's very like post battle, right? Like they're all recovering, they all have the close up on Master Shun's face is awesome, but that moment where you see Waylon get up in the morning, put on his shoes, and get into like that pose, like that. I always call it the flash pose. It's like that face. You know what I mean? But you see the Jordans, and that's not even the craziest part of this, because obviously the Jordan 6s are amazing, but you see the teardrops on the boots. Very nice stuff. Of course, the colors by Matt Wilson are gorgeous. And then in the next page, again, there's no speech, there's nothing, there's no words. It's just all action as you see him come face to face with Owen, and then we finally get the very first words of the entire issue, a few pages in, and he just says, "I'm ready," and you see them facing off. What do you guys think?
Yeah, quite a setup. Personally, I was pretty surprised that it started out like the first page. It kind of sets a light tone to it, kind of just where we ended last issue. Like it ended on a very somber note, like it was very red and dark colors. It had a long hiatus, but yeah, just opening into this and just it being super bright. I do love the setup, and it kind of gets you into things after being gone for so long. But just love the Jordan action here. Personally, it's great. This is the most Samnee's drawn the Jordans, and we haven't seen them for a while too. So yeah, I'm sure Ali liked that as well.
This is, I think this might be the first time we've seen them in like a dozen issues or so, because I feel like usually they're, or as this with this much detail at least. But no, this is a very powerful like start to the issue, and it shows you kind of like everybody's still kind of trying to figure out how to deal with everything that happened, and then more specifically with Owen and oh my god, his name escaped me, Waylon. Yeah. We've been waiting a long time for it, and you get the sense that there has been a little bit of time that passed, and that everybody here still have been waiting for this moment.
They're still recovering, and the thing is, like, they got so close, right? Like they literally. Owen was so frustrated, like, of how they almost like he did exactly what the prophecy said and everything, and it still didn't really do anything. So they kind of really seemed defeated at this point, like as a collective. But yeah, just setting up the battle here was really sweet, and I was just like, I don't know, the battle was weird for me almost because it didn't really seemed to me like I didn't believe they were gonna fight. I don't know about you guys, but like it just seemed like, I don't know, like Owen wasn't really someone who would just kind of go in to fight someone before at least talking. So I don't know what you guys expected from this, but it was a good setup nonetheless.
I think you're kind of right, and Owen doesn't want to. Like, look at their faces. Look at the emotion on their faces on the page after Waylon says, "I'm ready." Like Owen looks like he's holding in all the tears. Waylon is already crying. He's been crying.
Yeah.
I feel like they did like the whole like temple, getting geared up to meet at this like hangar, whatever they are. I feel like they did all that just to make you feel like they're gonna fight. To kind of.
It's a big tease.
Yes, and that's the thing. I love the whole scene, but to me, it was kind of like I never bought it. Just based on the characters. So I don't know.
I feel like even just like someone who's read a lot of comics, like they're gonna have to defeat the dragon together, and now that he's teaching everyone firepower, like why would you just like lower your ranks by one of the strongest, if not like the most skilled like martial artists there? So like why would you do that? This is from like a utilitarian perspective. So like I don't even think you would do that, because he needs him, and that's what happens actually. So you get the conversation that's obviously emotional. The funniest part is that in the middle of all this like intensity, you see it like Doug behind the door watching them, and he's doing it just because like any teenage kid at that age, he just wants to see this epic battle between two very skilled martial artists. So he's hoping to get some of the good stuff, but that's where his mom shows up, middle naming him and everything, and she's just upset, and then he has to leave, without any drama. But I find it really interesting, this page, where right after Doug is stomping away, might I add, which is really cool. Love those stomps from Russ Wooten there. Ling Zan shows up, and she tells Kelly, like that she knew about Owen's parents, and that she's there to help if they need anything. And I think I'm honestly glad that Kelly says what she says. What she says is, like, I think you need to keep your distance, which is like, I think Zan's been really awkward during all of this, and I know she means well, but yeah, it is kind of creepy. It's like you didn't, share that. So yeah, I think that was, I'm glad she like kind of like put her in her place.
I didn't like how she's so like nonchalant about it. She's like, yeah, I knew. I loved Owen more. My loyalty was more to him. So I don't know. There was no like remorse in it. So I get Kelly in this situation.
Yeah, no, for sure. And she like, and just her knowing this, like, it could change her motives. Like, who knows what she's up to? Who knows what else she knows? Like, she obviously knows more than she's letting on. So, yeah, no, it was a good scene, and yeah, them finally butting heads was pretty funny to see. It was cool. We saw a couple moments with Ling Zan in here. Like interacting with different characters and stuff, and I loved it. She was kind of on the wayside maybe the last 6 issues or something, but she's been getting back in here and getting some action for sure. So that's great to see.
Yeah, the next page is really cool because we shift back away from the temple towards and the island, sorry, towards Master Shaw, as we see he's made landfall in Chicago, and which is really funny. It seems like in Image Comics, Chicago's taken a beating this year.
Right, right.
Say like different books, like same beating. It seems like what do these writers have against the?
I mean, it's usually New York, so at least somewhere different this time.
Yeah, but yeah, the Dragon Man. I just want to say, like that pose. I feel like like when you're reading or watching an animation, and you just like there's like a smooth transition between scenes. Like I could feel like the emotion when like Master Shaw's got like his hands out and the way his face is like gesturing. So I thought this was a really cool panel from Chris Samnee, where it's like you could feel like the twirling the mustache dialogue time.
Yeah, no, it's a funny reaction. Like he's pissed that yeah, obviously people in other countries are far away. They feel a sense of safety right now. So it's just super funny, and he's just he wants to take over the whole world, obviously, and he has the means to do so. So yeah, rushing right over to Chicago, and yeah, like you said, just poor old Chicago for sure. But yeah, not going too much into that, but it was cool, kind of going back there after so long, kind of being on this side of the world. So yeah, kind of getting back into the beach and Wei Lun and stuff, just talking in here. It was great. Like I did love it a lot, and it showed Owen he still wants to talk, but he's definitely not giving Wei Lun a break or anything. And he wants to know kind of his reasoning, and at least he hears him out. So yeah, it was also cool to see our first glimpse at young Wei Lun here. That was cool to see too.
Yeah, I agree. I do like that page with the close up, like when right before we shift back to the island where Master Shaw says, "Let us educate them," and you get what's really cool about that, like that big part of that page, like because it takes up like 3/4 of the page, the panel. Well, not only do you see him riding like the dragon very nonchalantly, like he's just standing. He's not even like really gripping it. He's just kind of like standing on it with it's like a flying disc or something, and that's awesome. But I love the perspective of the city below with like it's like blurry because they're moving so fast. It almost looks like it's warping. I thought that was such a cool little touch, and of course, again, the coloring by Matt Wilson, like he's so good at guiding your eyes because of how he lights up the page. So I really like this page. Of course, lettering by good opportunity for awesome lettering, super subtle. That's how you know it's effective and just amazing by Russ Wooten. And yeah, then we're back on the island, and it's a super emotional episode. I like it. Sorry, issue. I like it because you're seeing the emotions from everybody at the island as they recover. Like Chenzul is recovering in his own way. Everybody else is injured. Like you see morale is down, and more than ever they need something to boost them up. So it's not only an inconvenience what's going on, like this revelation coming in now. It's not only an inconvenience to Owen, but it's actually an inconvenience to everybody on the planet by extension, because the longer they take to resolve this, to train everybody, the longer it's going to take to save lives, because the dragons out there literally just going crazy. So it's interesting to see that, like, it puts you in a situation where you don't really have time to emotionally navigate these waters. You kind of just have to deal with it. And I think seeing Owen kind of do that shows us how much he's matured from that Owen who showed up at the top of the mountain in the prelude.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it was really cool. Like just seeing their reactions, and just hearing like Owen just straight up tell Wei Lun, like, you're a father to me, and kind of this whole situation is getting really tough, and it adds on this whole, yeah, kind of what they're already facing. So yeah, it's probably really important, especially for Owen. They're really gonna have to get their heads in the right space, especially before they go battle this big ass dragon. So yeah, it's a super heavy issue for sure, and they're dealing with a lot. But yeah, it was something they were leading up to for a long time. And I don't know about you guys, but I totally forgot about Owen's parents, like up until like this issue. Like they weren't mentioned very much, like at all. Like they were mentioned a few times here and there, but they weren't really a main point of the series. So yeah, I thought that was also kind of cool how they kind of brought that back around.
I think the last time we really talked about them was in the prelude, right? When Owen had the
Yeah.
picture and him and Waylon talked about it too. He's like, "Yeah, your parents were killed." Well,
Yeah.
at that time, I think he lied to him and he said they were killed by the Scorched Earth clan. But
Yeah.
now in this issue, we finally get the truth. Like 30 issues later, or 25 issues later.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a cool reveal. I do like the coloring distinction between the flashback where he's thinking of himself younger, and it's all like mostly silhouette artwork between like shades of dark blue and maybe like very specific, I guess, teal looking color. But love it, love to see the shadow work between in the background of the panels just to create some sort of composition. It's really cool because again the coloring gives way, like you can see whenever they're fighting, like there's almost a break in the current or the rain behind them, so it's like glowy.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Love seeing the little bits of water on Waylon's hat as they beat him up, and I'd love to see that his sense of fashion hasn't really changed like over all these years. Like he's still wearing the same hat, which is like super funny. Um but yeah, it's super emotional issue. Like I think another thing that kind of hits you hard is we're always so used to seeing Waylon, like he's definitely expressed emotion, but I don't think we've ever really seen him like break down and cry this much. He's usually in control. So to see that difference where it's actually usually the other way around, Owen's the one who's not in control and then Waylon is, but this time Owen's in control and Waylon's the one who actually needs guidance. So it's interesting to see that, yeah, he's a master and he's even his master, one of his masters, but he's still learning a lot of things from his student.
Yeah. Yeah, and the situation is just so crappy because like he genuinely thought he was doing the right thing. Like he was led to believe kind of wrong things to begin with, but like just the whole situation and seeing Wei Lun, he feels like he has to take down these people, and I truly believe like it's like it was a good explanation I found. And I don't know about you guys, but I thought Owen, like he was good on him, and like he wasn't mad at him that much. He said we need to sort things out just to get this thing solved and so we can win the day. But I kind of thought the explanation didn't deserve kind of Owen's reaction. I don't know about you guys.
Well, is it? I'm
I
a
think
little bit confused. Is it
I
because
can
they?
wait. He's been lied to
Right.
multiple times. That's why.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's like at the root of it, it's like I think he's so angry because not only has he been lied to from someone who really cares about and he considers close, but it's the fact that he's kind of been like aimed like a weapon. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like they kind of used him. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
literally used him. So it's like that's I feel like that's why he feels so betrayed. It's because like
Yeah.
someone he's learned to trust has manipulated him multiple times just so he can get what he wants. And not only that, but like his parents died for, when you really think about it, the same cause that he's being manipulated for. So it's just like it's a lot of like fuckery for one person. Just like, you know
Yeah.
what I
Oh
mean?
no. Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
get that. I think that like him being in his position, and even at one part him believing that the dragon, like he was on that side to begin with, like, and he generally believed that. So I think that I don't know. I obviously it's a tough situation. He killed his parents, but it's I don't know. I think it's a redeemable cause. I'll say that. I think it's something they can come back through eventually. But yeah, it's I hope they can patch things up. But also I want to point out here is that like in the little fight, you don't see Owen's parents at all. You see a little glimpse of the mom's face. And she kind of looks like Haley a little bit. Which I think is kind of cool too. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, emotional stuff. And we see classic case of Kirkman reusing parts of the same panel with like the hands on when he puts his hands on his own face, and then
they redraw the hand. They
redraw the hand. Exactly. Yeah. Just any point to any opportunity to point out in a Robert Kirkman book, I have to do it. But I really like the background in this page. It's like the first time, because like this page, like this book is so beautiful. I think one thing they always take advantage of is the backgrounds. Being a book where they go to like a lot of different locations, they really take advantage of that with like the tranquility at the beginning of the issue in parts of the island where they're feeling more calm despite all the chaos, or even like amidst big waves of destruction in battles and other issues. But here, when you see Owen finally tell him like it's done, it's water under the bridge, and you see kind of like the waves crash against the big rocks. Yeah, it's like a really nice shot. It's really cool. Like it kind of humbles you. It shows you that like it humanizes them. It kind of grounds them, and it like. When you look at it again, they're in a very sensitive spot, because look at Owen's face. He's literally still covered in band-aids and scratches, and you know what I mean? Everyone looks rough. Like they're literally haven't even recovered. So I think it does a really good job of showing you what it's like right now. And then the next page with just shots of Chicago. Like that's all it is shots of Chicago from different angles. It's amazing. I know like Kirkman said Kirkman and Samnee, we talked about this in the RC code of this issue, and they were saying like Samnee was struggling to find really good references because he's never been. Actually, I don't know if he said he's never been there, but he said it's like a 6-hour drive away, and he can't just go there to like take references. So he's like using the Google satellite images, and that's how he got like the Wrigley Field, the home of the Chicago Cubs, and everything. And he was like, even like the composition is similar to the shot I got it of and everything. And I just really appreciate that. This page is gorgeous. So
yeah, really is, and kind of fills a false sense of safety right now. Like everyone just feels calm and peaceful, they're just minding their day. But yeah, some trouble's coming, that's for sure.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, because up to this point the dragon hasn't been to America yet, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is like the first time people on this side of the world get to, because I was looking at them like people are just living their lives, they're going to games, walking around, taking a stroll in the park, but this is like World War III right now.
Yeah. And then that's why he was mad to begin with, right? Like he came over here. He's like, these people shouldn't feel safe. I'm here. Like I'm the one who should be in control of everything, I guess. So, but no, this was just absolutely epic. Another kind of three-quarter panel there of the dragon again. And just seeing him fly in here was absolutely crazy. And what we see next was freaking. I wasn't expecting that.
I thought it was a very creative way to like kill everybody. It's almost like the dragon's saying like it's not worth me like physically doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's just like they're like beneath me, so I'll just tail whip the water. Nah, it's like I'll collide head first like a bullet into the water. And I love that right before he makes contact in the water, you can see the shadow of the dragon on the water. I thought that's like a really nice touch. But yeah, that tsunami, that tidal wave that he creates. And then the next page, you get a big shot of Owen's face. And first of all, this is another like classic signature Kirkman thing that he loves. But one thing I thought so funny is that when they were talking about this in the RC Coda, he was saying how like originally he had like 2 pages of like the wave and destruction and everything. And Kirkman, Samnee was just like, nope. And he just drew this. And Kirkman, I really appreciate like how bold that is, and like how you did that and Kirkman thought it was like a little bit malicious because he made him draw the shoes at the beginning of the issue, which like Samnee hates drawing the shoes. But like I have no recollection of like it being intentional or malicious. And then he says like no maliciousness was intended in the creation of this comic. I thought that was funny. But dude, this is such a good close-up shot. Like this is like classic shot of like this is good like profile picture shit. If you have like But I love it. Really, really nice. And again, Matt Wilson with the colors in the background, like they're just showing off at this point. Let's be real.
Yeah. Those colors are absolutely gorgeous, like you said. Yeah, easily a wallpaper or something if you could take those words out somehow. But yeah, just a gorgeous page, and really, like you were talking about before, just shows the growth of Owen and kind of where he's been since this first issue. Now he's fully taking command. Like we've kind of noticed that this whole thing is going to come down to him. Like they've said, he's their only hope, but now they've kind of realized that maybe that's not true. But I love how he's still kind of in there taking control. And this is a side of Owen that's really coming out, and I love seeing for sure. So yeah, it's cool. So I'm actually curious if we're going to see a stronger version of Owen, which I hope we do, and I'm sure we will. But like a stronger version of Owen than we even saw last issue, because apparently he's already mastered the firepower. So yeah, I'm not sure if he's or mastered the flaming fist technique. So yeah, I'm curious if his power is going to go even beyond kind of after him kind of gaining all this knowledge and kind of getting more control of his emotions and his powers and just everyone else, you know. So yeah, but it's cool seeing the whole group kind of getting on this and just seeing Doug and Haley getting in here eventually. We know how bad they want to fight with them before, but yeah, they realize all hands are on deck for this one. So yeah, it was cool to see that.
The fellowship moment. They're building the fellowship.
Yes.
100%.
No, but even during the speech, Owen says, you know, even my power is yet to be mastered, let alone the embers that Haley and Doug have. Right. And Doug takes offense to that. He's like, embers?
Yeah. That page is so hilarious. Like Shenzul is too tall. His head can't fit in the page. That's great. So yeah, no, this was a cool page. Like you said, very fellowship, but yeah, great stuff.
Yeah. Again, like with the backgrounds, like you get a different shot of the island. It's so nice, very like serene. I love that. And then yeah, you know, that's where we get the next page. You get the Mulan like training montage, right? Where it's like, I forget the song.
I'll make a man out of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's pretty much what's happening here. Is like, I do like that he's talking to everybody, and then you get this really shocking moment because Kelly's just looking off in horror as she's on the phone. Clearly, she's heard something horrific. And that's what he asks her, what happened? And she's like, Chicago, it's horrible. And we get the next page, which is, in my opinion, just it's such a cool thing to cut to. Like, it's perfect because it's almost like they're keeping you on the edge of your seat. You're like, oh my God, what's happening? And they just show you like the horror of it. It's very like, what's that, Cloverfield, you know? To show you from like the angle of the helicopter straight up descending. It's, first of all, it's scary. Like, it's scary. I really like how he drew all the different helicopters in the distance. They almost look like ants, like to give you a sense of scale. And man, like you're seeing, it's not only like a defense. It's not only like they're trying to attack the dragon in self-defense, but it's also an evacuation of the city because you see people going one way and then the jets going the other way. So yeah, I mean we have we see Chicago earlier. This is such a good juxtaposition between the page we saw earlier where it's all colorful and it's beautiful, and now it's literally the sky is smog, right? It's just like all fire and smoke. What do you guys think here? Very, very Godzilla, eh?
Yes. Right, and again, this is another. We had something similar in a few issues ago when the dragon first came, and I think when he was in China and he leveled the city. This is the same thing. It shows you the sheer scale of his power. Like he's barely even trying, and he brought down this entire city underwater. I love in the first page too. You could see both the dragon and the entire city. Like half these skyscrapers, half of them is underwater. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is, and you see also, I guess, some of these helicopters. I love in that big the spread too. You see the family in the helicopter. You see the little girl there, kind of getting some help. So yeah, it's really just showing the stakes and kind of everything that's going on here. And yeah, this thing's wreaking havoc for sure. But like as we know, and what are these helicopters really gonna do to this thing? So yeah, tickle it. So that's a lot. That's a lot of money for a tickle. So I'm not too sure, but it was a crazy moment for sure. And just seeing Master Shaw and Shaw kind of coming in here and talking to this one agent was probably my favorite moment of this freaking issue.
The splash page, like where they're shooting at the dragon and everything. There's like, I love in the fourth like vertical panel where you can see the ejection of the one of the pilots, like he ejected the seat. So I think that's just so funny and I love that. But yeah,
I'm not sure. Did that not happen after seeing that? I remember for some reason, I remember something happening when the dragon first attacked, and there was they were in a helicopter, and one person used his ejector seat, but the dragon it showed the dragon coming up and
yes. You're
so
right. I think we mentioned it too. We mentioned it.
Kind of
like he hit some planes and the guy was falling up. Bit of right midair.
No, I thought that was funny too. Yeah, good show.
Yeah, and so we see in the next page the sheer sense of destruction, the scale of the destruction, and you see a soldier holding his fellow soldier, and he's worried. He says he's going to bleed to death, and that's where you see this like Master Shaw's face covered in shadows, and he's like, no, he is not, and he just burns him alive, like he just killed him straight up. And then the guy the other soldier that's left is in such shock. He just says, why? And he says, why did I kill your ally? You ask too many questions and you need the right, leader. And that's where one of the snakes bite him and take him over. So as we see, Master Shaw is not just, wreaking havoc, but he has a plan here. He's taking over.
That was easily probably my favorite page of the issue. Just like, I remember reading it for the first time. The way the panels are spaced out, like you see kind of his whole body, but it's split in half. Like I didn't even notice the snake for the first time. Like you see him talking to it, and then it just pans down to the other panel, like as the snake's sneaking up. So I just thought that was so perfectly done, and I fell for that too. But yeah. What do you guys think about the blue and red pages? We kind of get that in here, but what do you think of Haley coming in here? And they're continuing their training, but I thought just the mixture of that blue and red on the next page with Haley training was also absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, my favorite part of those pages is obviously Haley doing some like crazy parkour tricks and all, just just dodging everything and going ham. But like the next page right after, it's just Doug throwing this like pathetic little like snowball of a fireball. It's so funny. It's like it's just like even the sound.
It's like a lighter, right?
Yeah. Hers is like like the page is like shaking, and his is just like it's very funny. I love that distinction between the two, and I find what Chen Zhu says kind of like cold. He's just like, oh, at least Hong Kong is safe for now. And it just, and Waylon's just like, I don't think people of Chicago like share that sentiment, but but Owen's like really like full leader mode. He's embraced his role. He's like, the leader, and he's just telling them, okay, no, we're staying on course. This is what's happening, and that's where you see it finally really starting to hit Kelly, because she's starting to get really. It's starting to sink on her the reality that her kids are going to be like fighting a dragon, but she's not, bringing it up just yet. And then you see the funniest thing where you hear a yell from Doug and it makes you think, oh shit! But then you see he's just like, Haley burnt my butt. So I love that panel where he says that, because it's very playful, and then you can see like Haley in the back with the eyes looks like Billy Batson from the Golden Age, when he had like the kid eyes.
Yeah.
So I just think that's super funny. But I love that panel. I find it funny because you could tell there's, I don't know if it's a mistake, but that's how, maybe it's like a slight blemish, but there's like a rare like mistake from Chris Samnee where you see, I'm assuming the squiggles above Owen's head are to symbolize that he's angry. But I feel like the placement is a bit awkward because it's just to the like right next to Kelly's elbow, but a little bit further from Owen than you would like it to be. And Kelly also is like,
I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like the placement is a little bit awkward, but that's the first time I've ever noticed something like that.
Like if it was a little lower, I think you would translate a little better. But this is I feel like up to this point, Owen is very pragmatic. He's very on mission, like very kind of emotionless, and this is kind of the first time we see a burst of emotion, even if it's pretty negative. And the kids look shocked because I don't think we've definitely never seen Owen do something like this with his kids, and I doubt it's ever happened before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think actually, I think we did see him like definitely not to this extent, but we saw him kind of be serious. They were joking around, like kind of when they were first kind of being pulled into this situation. I think, and they were first like being sent to the island. Like he kind of snapped them out of this, but this was just. Yeah, this was definitely kind of unexpected from Owen, but kind of just makes sense with everything that's going on and all the emotions in the air. And I think he can I think at this point he can feel Kelly kind of getting a little worried too. And he's kind of taken that into account too. So yeah, just a lot's going on, a lot of stakes, and yeah, his kids are in the battle. So yeah, there's really nothing for him not to lose in this battle. Really.
Yeah, and that's it like reminds me of when Batman started becoming like more of an asshole to like Robin, and then they did like Nightwing Year One, where they did like a new origin for why he booted like Dick from being Robin. It's just like you're not taking this seriously. I feel like that's the first sign of this with Owen. Is just like he's taking it. It's too traumatic. There's too much that's happened. He's not joking around at all anymore. He's not even. There's no room, like no margin for error. So yeah, even when you see like Doug's responsibility, he's like, "But we are," and then he's like, "Okay, sorry." And yeah, you get this next moment between Owen and Waylon at the end of the issue here, where he sees him at the crack of dawn sitting on top of one of the houses on the island, and he just tells him like, I'm just active because my body's used to it, it's trained to be active during this time. And then Owen's like, huh. And then he asks him like, are we okay? And then that's where we get the really shocking part for me is like Owen's like, no, we're not okay. Like we're just okay until this is over, and then like I don't forgive you, and I don't really want to be around you. And then the interesting part is you get a reveal from Waylon saying like, yeah, I had to give up a family, and I feel like that could have stopped me from, or that was one of the things stopping me from embracing the firepower and being able to channel it like earlier on. And that's where Owen says something that I think is very interesting. He says, it's so ironic that the thing that initially brought out the firepower in me was my fear of losing you. So it's not love. It's ironic that he's saying like love, 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 but he says for the first time here, it was fear. And that's something that I feel like that's an important seed being planted for the future of the comic book. I think that'll come back to be brought up.
I'll tell you, I definitely didn't catch this on the first read, but on the reread, it all starts to make sense.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. This is a great moment for sure. And it, like I said, like I remember the first time I read it, it just kind of, just when Owen said like, I will never, like kind of skipping a bit, but he said, I will never forgive you ever. Yeah. I just, that I don't know if I fully believed in Owen, him saying that just from everything we've seen with this character and just being, but yeah, he was betrayed pretty good. So
it's probably like still really raw as well. Like
like there's definitely a lot of truth to it. There's a lot of truth to it for sure.
That is true. Yeah, reactions can be a lot more extreme. Definitely raw in that moment, for sure. But yeah, no, like you said, this was a great moment, and right when he said that, like you said, he starts getting a little afraid here, and he says, "Owen, I'm so sorry," and obviously he's afraid he's going to lose Owen in this point. And as we flip and what we see Waylon channeling the firepower for the first time.
And it's white.
Yeah, it's not
white.
Blue, right?
It's white.
White. It's white. It's white. They mentioned in the RC coda it's meant to be white, but like the blue was just to show that it's white there in that particular thing. So and then the RC coda, they say that there's actually a thing with each person's color being different. It doesn't have to do with the heat, but there's like an emotional reason or something. And then he says, we'll discover that later on in the series. But I just want to say is in real time, we're on the issue. We're waiting for 30, which is the last one of the series. And he still hasn't mentioned that. So maybe it's a thing we'll get into in the last issue. But it ends with Owen saying, this issue ends with Owen saying, maybe this will be easier than I thought. And I thought this was an amazing issue. I think, is it 27 or 28 when it starts to go a little downhill just because the direction takes some very sudden and weird turns? It's still solid, but just not amazing anymore, in my opinion. But I guess that's a minor spoiler for next time. But yeah, this was a great issue, honestly.
Yeah, dare I say, worth the wait after the hiatus. Definitely answered a lot of questions, brought up more questions, and got me. Even though this was the beginning of the end, it got me excited for the last arc of the story.
Yeah, no, it was definitely worth the wait. It was a good setup for a new arc and everything. Definitely a bummer that it's ending, and kind of. I'm still curious, like when did this whole thing change? Like when did he decide it being ended? Because there's a few moments in here, kind of, and as we even in this issue and kind of the next issue, that kind of makes me think that he's kind of making the ending a little sooner than it was intended to be. But who knows? I'm curious if we'll ever find that out. But yeah, I can't wait to finish this series with you guys. And we got the RC Coda back this week.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that, so that was a good treat.
To kind of answer your question there real quick, and this is just my opinion, I think this was the first issue of him trying to get to the ending a little quicker. I think up to 20. This is 25, right? So up to 24.
Maybe they took that hiatus to kind of start reshuffling some things.
Right. Yeah. Figure out how to put it in one arc.
Yeah, and I just want to mention that. So we're talking about RC Coda time. There's a few highlights we mentioned throughout the issue for sure. A lot of it just comes down to creative process. Some of it's just banter and poking around. But one thing I think that was really interesting that was said is this issue. Yeah, so he says, well, now Kirkman jokes towards the end of RC Coda. He says, Samnee says, I always like drawing them, whether they're throwing fireballs or not. Talking about the kids, Doug and Haley. He says, I've grown to love these kids. It's weird. I don't know them. They're not real people, but I've drawn them so long now that they feel like real people to me. I have such a clear idea of who they are. And then Kirkman says, well, now that I know you like them so much, I'm going to have to kill them. And then Chris said, aw, I thought you were going to say they get their own spin-off, but kill them. I know you would too. If anyone would kill off a main character, it would be you. And then Kirkman just says, maybe. He doesn't say anything else. He said, maybe. Then he's like, so our final scene is this big emotional. But it's just like, man, like maybe there'll be a spin-off. Maybe you'll kill them. Maybe what? Just maybe for all of it. Like, give us the spin-off, man. The way this shit ended, or is that about to end? Give us a spin-off. Why not? All these amazing, these characters, we love them. Like,
there's a lot more to explore. There's a lot more to explore.
We got to start a pool. Who do you think will get a spin-off first, Haley or oh my God, Tara? Haley or Tara?
Haley
definitely.
Yeah. Just because, like, if he has plans for a spin-off, it's probably already in motion. It's probably just gonna wait till the last issue. But I don't think he does. I think he really wants to do the Energon stuff now that he's in that zone.
Right.
The licensing. Man, and that's fair. That's his thing.
Yeah. No, I'd even take a spin-off of all those masters that we never learned about, really. Like we saw the back of their heads once that trained Owen. But we never got to learn more about them. So that even that would be cool. Like there's a lot in this world. But yeah, it's obviously it's Kirkman. So yeah, if I don't know if he maybe not so much lost the passion for it, but wants to do something else, that's totally good. And it's better for him and the book too. Like we don't want it to go on if it's not something he wants to write, and it's not something that he wants to put his full quality into it if he doesn't want to do that kind of thing. So yeah, no, that's it's kind of interesting too. And it was also interesting, I don't know if what you guys think about this, but they had a little mention of possibly it was probably a joke, but there was a mention of RC Coda maybe being audio versions. So they record all the audio versions. They said after the book comes out they'll release them. Would you guys listen to those? What'd you think?
Oh yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
It'd be like a cool short cast. Yeah,
especially the Jason Mantzoukas RC Coda.
Yes. Yeah. I also just want to hear Chris Samnee's tone in all these things. Like he just seems so like just not wanting to be there. So no, it's great.
Here's cover 8 of the issue we just reviewed.
Yes.
So I just want to show that off. You see the double 25th issue spectacular banner, and there's the floating rocks we were talking about.
Yeah. We got one variant, right?
I will say though, That cover made me like I was expecting a fight. So I'm a little bit disappointed there wasn't a fight between them.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
That's
so
fair.
Greg Capullo and Dave McCaig did this variant, an amazing variant. You know, we love Greg Capullo. Had to pick this one up for sure. But this was a $5 issue, but it was 44 pages. So take that, Marvel. Amazing stuff. We love this issue, and we're definitely excited to talk about issue 26 next. But like Charlie said, this will be the final issue that we review in 2023, most likely. Will it come out in 2023? Probably not. maybe
not.
But probably not. Yeah. It'll come out very early 2024, but we will have reviewed 26, 27, 28, and 29 before 30 comes out, because we still have a month. So those will definitely be done before 30 comes out, and then we'll review 30 either the day it releases or the day after. It'll be a big episode, and we plan on bringing Matt from the Radiant Black podcast, our friend Matt, to join us for 29 and 30. So we can see, get his thoughts as well on the big thing, and have a.
He's a big Firepower fan. He's been reading for a long time.
I'm excited to get his thoughts. I don't even really know his thoughts on the series as a whole, like just in general and stuff. So I'm excited to get him on. That'll be a good time. And I still haven't read 20. I've read 27, but that's it. I'm still waiting for those. But I'm holding off. But can't wait to get into those with you.
Oh, you guys have some interesting revelations to look forward to in 28, 29, and some cool variants. 28 has that awesome peanut butter variant. Him dreaming of him fighting the dragon. Yeah, I love that cover. I actually have it somewhere around here. We'll see you guys next time for Firepower number 26, where things get even more fiery. If you didn't even think that was possible, let me tell you, it is. So we'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Stay roasty.